Hey everybody, welcome to Garden Time with Belle. Think you need flowers for a show-stopping summer container? Well, think again. Today I am creating a beautiful shade planter using just Caladium and Coleus. Their gorgeous colorful foliage will just shine all summer long. Plus, I'm super excited to show you all how you can take one plant and turn it into many free plants. I'm going to show you how I love to propagate Coleus. One of the simplest tricks you can do: buy one Coleus, turn it into many Coleus, and you'll have loads of free plants for your garden. So before I turn the camera around and show you which Caladium and Coleus I'm going to be planting out in the garden today, I'm going to invite everybody to please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you to those of you who already follow my videos. Your support means an awful lot to me. And those that just found me today, I am so glad you're here. All right, so it is time for me to show you what's going to go in my beautiful shade summer containers and which of my Coleus is actually going to go out into the landscape. Let me show you the two plants that are going to go in one of my big ceramic pots on our back deck. And that would be, first and foremost, this gorgeous Caladium. Oh my goodness, isn't that so pretty? I hope it's showing up well for you. Caladiums are wonderful for a shady spot in your garden. I picked this up at my local nursery. It's not a Proven Winners plant, even though you can see by all the empty cans, I'm a big Proven Winners fan. They have Caladiums too, but you know what? They come in so many beautiful varieties that I'm sure you can find something at your local nursery. This one is called Pink Beauty, perfectly named. Let's look at the specs. This is going to get 18 to 22 inches tall. It's going to go in the center of my pot because it's going to get tall and full. What are the other specs? Keep moist. Nighttime temps above 60. Caladiums are considered somewhat of a tropical. So here in my zone 6 Missouri garden, I need to be only planting out caladiums when we have nice temperatures, when we're well past any threat of frost and the nighttime lows are upper 50, 60 and above. That's when they really thrive. So this is going to go in the center of the pot. And then I am going to underplant it, and I am going to underplant it with my beloved Coleus. If you see my videos, you know I have a whole bunch of videos on how much I love Coleus. Again, no flowers, just phenomenal foliage in every kind of growth habit, coloration, leaf structure. Oh, and I'm going to be using, to underplant, I'm going to be using a Proven Winners variety called a Strawberry Drop. Now, they don't look like much now. Let me bring it in really close because they don't have the pink. But once they get out in the landscape and they start getting natural light, get them out of the greenhouse, they're going to really color up. So Strawberry Drop. What is significant about these is, as the name implies, they'll go up and spill over that pot. So we'll have the Caladium in the center, tall, and then surrounded below by the Strawberry Drop Coleus that'll come up and over the edges of the pot. So I think that's going to be a great pairing. I am going to take the camera now and I'm going to turn it around because I want you to see this other tray of Coleus that I have been tending here in the greenhouse because I want to convince you, if you have never tried to propagate Coleus before, meaning you take some snips off the mother plant and you get them to root in, oh, you need to try it. I started doing this about, I would say, only 3 years ago. You can take one plant and turn it into many plants, and talk about saving money and creating your own plants for your garden. I just think it's the best thing ever. So let me turn the camera around and show you the other Coleus that we're going to actually place in the landscape. Of course, here's the Caladium that I just showed you, and the Strawberry Drop Coleus that's going to go over the edges. And then this is a tray that's been waiting for me to let them grow on a little bit. So these 6 are from the mother plant. This is Wicked Witch Coleus. Look at that. Wow. And then these 2 here on the end are, let's see, Color Blaze Velveteen. They get 24 to 40 inches tall, and the Wicked Witch gets 24 to 40 inches tall too, but actually I've seen it get even taller than that. So why are these not in Proven Winners cans? Because they're what I propagated. I bought the originals from Proven Winners, and then I took cuttings from them. I snipped off the top growth on the plant, and I turned one Wicked Witch Coleus into 6 new plants, and I turned one of my Velveteen Color Blaze Coleuses into 2 more plants. All you need to do is snip the tops, put them, I like to put them in a jar of water, the bottoms of the plants. I waited only 2 weeks here in the greenhouse. I think I had them on this shelf or somewhere over there. It doesn't matter. I had them in a warm, sunny place, and in less than 2 weeks, they had already produced lots of roots. Then I popped them in some potting mix to let them root out a little bit more. And in fact, I think I did the right thing for once. I remembered to write on here when I popped them in the soil, which was May the 13th. So they have only been in potting soil for, oh gosh, let's see here, not quite 2 weeks. And 2 weeks before that, they were in water to root up. So 4 weeks later, I think they have enough of a root development, sturdy enough that when I plant these in the landscape, they're going to go in the north side of my garden. They're going to take root and take hold and grow into some gorgeousness. So I do have some videos on my channel. Check them out. Just do a little search on how to propagate Coleus and actually geraniums. They're also super, super easy to take one plant and turn it into many. Now, quick disclaimer, Proven Winners trademarks all of their plants. They are wonderful plant developers. You should never, ever propagate trademarked plants for sale. But the average home gardener, like most of us, you and I, you can definitely do this and there's no problems at all. All right, so I need to grab up these plants. We're going to head out to the garden and get them potted up and get some put in the landscape. Here I am on our back deck, which is where this pot's going to stay. And again, this is east facing, so it gets morning sun, and from about noon, 1 o'clock on, it is shaded for the rest of the day, and it's a perfect spot for some of the plants that I've chosen. If you haven't seen the video of me potting up this 4 by 2 foot planter box with the attached trellis, I'm going to encourage you to check that out. This is loaded with flowers, but mostly foliage. Again, you don't need lots of flowers for a big impact. I've got some Wicked Witch Coleus in here, which again will get up to 40 inches tall and fill this in nicely. I've got some Creeping Jenny for our chartreuse pop. It will be my trailer. And the Surefire Rose Begonia, which is a Proven Winners annual that does equally well in sun or shade. Very versatile. Got some ivy that I'm reusing from some plants I've been keeping, and I just popped in a clematis. So yeah, so anyways, that's not really what this is about, but if you haven't seen that video, check it out. Okay, could not be simpler, right, everybody? So we're just going to pop the Caladium in the center. Again, I think I read the specs on it. What does it get? 18 to 24 inches tall, something like that. So yeah, it'll get nice and tall. And the 2 cherry drop or strawberry drop Coleus that'll spill over the edges. I think this is probably a 10-inch pot. It is a ceramic pot, which just want to mention that. So ceramic pots hold water a lot longer than clay pots, terracotta pots, because terracotta pots are porous and they breathe. And they're really beautiful pots, but I tend to use a lot of these because this is what I've got, ceramic pots. So I won't need to water it a lot, especially because when I turn the camera around, I'm pointing that direction. This pot's gonna be on a little cast iron little table over in the corner in the shade. So, okay, so I've got some soil in here. I'm gonna add some starter fertilizer. Coleus and Caladium actually are not heavy feeders because they're not producing a lot of flowers, no flowers actually. You don't have to fertilize them a lot like you would want to fertilize your flowering annuals. But I do want to get them off, the roots to really take hold, get them off to a good start. So yeah, Caladium's going to go in the center. Ooh, look at all those roots. You don't always have to loosen up roots at all, but I will just a little bit. So, okay, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bit more potting mix, and then I'll fill in around it as needed. So, Caladiums going in the center, like so. And The strawberry drop Coleus is going to go on either side. Those of you that follow my channel, you know that I'm a huge proponent of fewer plants in your pots. You do not need to cram your pots full of excess plants. You just don't need to, especially when you know the growth habit of your plants. So it's really important to take some time to read the tags, do a little research. Quick Google search will tell you how big your plants get. You can save so much money. Or if you like to spend a lot of money on annuals, kind of like I did this year, you can have many, many pots instead of one cram full. So that's my philosophy. There's lots of gardeners out there that are going to tell you to cram them full. I am not one of those gardeners. Look at the roots. Again, this was a teeny tiny cutting from the mother plant, and it is loving its life already. And once it has a chance to settle in this pot, yep. Healthy roots. Healthy roots are white roots. That's what you want to see on all of your plants, actually. Okay. I mean, talk about a quick, easy, shade-loving plant. What I will say also in terms of sun requirements, a lot of the proven winners, Coleus, like these, like strawberry drop, do equally well in sun or shade. Amazing. I just love that these plant breeders are listening to us as homeowners, as home gardeners, and giving us things that have some versatility. All right, wow, that was a tough project, wasn't it? So I'm going to turn the camera around and put it on its little table over there in the shady corner, and then we're going to go to the north side of the house where I am going to plant some Wicked Witch Coleus and I think the Velveteen in the landscape, in the ground, where it's going to just explode by midsummer. Over here you go, and I love it. I'm putting it right here in the corner because it's really shady in that corner, and beyond the camera where you can't see, we have a screened-in porch where I spend a lot of my time. So being able to sit in there on the couch or in the chairs and look out here and see those Caladiums and Coleus and looking at this come to life, yeah, it's a pretty great place to sit and enjoy all the things that I have grown this year. So just giving this a nice big drink is all that it needs. And then we're going to move to the north side of the house and get my propagated Coleus, my free plants, in the landscape. I've moved to the north side of the house, which is where our Coleus starts are going to go. And here's what I'm thinking. I think I'll take the Wicked Witch Coleus and I'm going to put it sort of on the back of this bed. Maybe 4 up here, 1 behind the hellebore down there, and maybe 1 near the spiral boxwood. The Wicked Witch, as you know, gets 24 to 40 inches tall. I've grown a lot of Coleus, and I think this is going to get on the bigger side. So, you know, what is this? This is 3 foot, somewhere in there. So it will be a beautiful contrast to the siding, the kind of taupe siding, and having this really dark burgundy foliage with the beautiful chartreuse, really defined edges in the back of this border. I think it's going to really be a wonderful contrast between the house and that. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. And then I propagated a couple of the Velveteen Coleus, and I think I'm going to move them right down here in front of that little hosta. I think I'm going to move them a little further away from the house. The beauty of these proven winners Coleus is they are bred to do equally well in sun or shade. I mean, these plant breeders, I'm just so impressed with what they're doing for us. So yeah, I think that's all I need to tell you about in terms of the plants and where they're going to go. I've got my auger, so I'll drill some holes, pop in some Biotone root stimulator, some organic fertilizer to really get them off to a good start. Yeah, so that's all there's left to do is 2, 4, 6, 8 Coleus going in this north side bed. All right, so the velveteen gets pretty tall, but it doesn't get nearly as wide as the Wicked Witch. So I think I'm going to put 2 of them right here behind this wave petunia. I have not grown wave petunias in forever and ever, but the price was too good to pass up, and they are a really pale lilac. They're looking sad right now, but you know, they just need to get established. So all right, so let's put in that beautiful velveteen. Woo, oh, I barely missed my drip line. Thank you, thank you. Glad I didn't hit it. Lots of beautiful earthworms. You always want to see that when you see loads of earthworms. That is a very good sign of healthy soil. All right, well, I know this one will get plenty of water because the drip line's close by. Get that out of the way. Okay, where is my fertilizer? What did I do with it? Oh, you know, I had it right here. Are you like me? You lose stuff? Yeah, let me grab my fertilizer. I have to laugh, you know, and you all can probably relate to this as a gardener. You know, I often misplace things, right? Pruner's gloves, like what? I just had them. It makes me think of wrapping Christmas presents. How many times, where's the tape? I just had the tape. Or where are my scissors? Definitely happens for sure. All right, let's see. I think I'm going to move that hole over just a skosh. Well, all 8 Coleus are in the landscape. Let me bring up my camera in close because they're microscopic at this point. They are teeny tiny baby plants. There is a Wicked Witch there. There's a Wicked Witch back there. And if we go up to the top tier, I placed 4 of them behind all those other plants. And the last 2 I planted would be the sweet little velveteen. They are here further out from the house. So I've got some hellebore, a hosta, and then the sweet pink and a fuchsia and purple and lime green velveteen. Well, that's going to do it for today's garden project. I am so glad you guys hung out with me today. Thanks for being here. I hope that you will consider growing Coleus in your garden. It is amazing in the landscape, like I've done here, and certainly in pots and containers and hanging baskets. It comes in so many colors, and if you pick certain varieties like I did, they will do equally well in sun or shade, which is a gardener's dream to have that kind of flexibility in the garden. And also, if you haven't grown caladiums, you know, caladiums are beautiful shade-loving plants. And so a lot of times shade can be kind of tricky for gardeners and trying to pick certain annuals for that space. So all I have left to do, of course, is give these a drink. This is on drip irrigation, so after I get them settled in today, the drip irrigation will take over. Caladiums and Coleus do like water. Think about once they get big, all that beautiful foliage requires consistent moisture. So you might want to think about that if you choose to plant either of those in your own garden. So until next time, I wish everybody out there happy gardening.